You're watching the CG Live podcast. Now, the content for these podcasts are a little bit different than our normal pods as we bring on members and do long-form interviews. These were actually recorded live at our events with members that were going on stage to present, so the content is killer. Enjoy the show. What's up, everyone? Welcome back in day 2 here at CG Select and CG Elevate in Dallas, Texas. This is our October event, our last event of the year, and this is our last live podcast of the event, and we saved the best for last. Please welcome in Mr. Travis Copeland from Columbus, Ohio. How are you, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I said earlier that Columbus is one of my favorite markets because we have such great people that are members of this organization that are from Columbus, Ohio. Yep. What is it in the water in Columbus, man? You guys got great human beings that say, I know these other people that should benefit from this great group as well. You and Sean and Tommy have all been some of the biggest referrers into this group. Just really good human beings. What is it in Columbus?
I think especially the young nucleus that we have there, a lot of the people you mentioned, is we definitely look at collaboration more than competition. So many times we're walking into houses, competing against each other. But a lot of the times we're finding out ways to work on these deals together. Like Tommy and I are JVing deals together.
Love that.
Instead of bidding each other up on some properties. So truthfully, like we all work together. It's not always just trying to beat each other out.
If you're listening to this and you're in a market where you're like, man, I have to make sure that my competition doesn't learn anything about me. I've got to be in a group where no one else, I promise you, today, more so than ever, it is about collaboration over competition. The pie is only a certain size, but everyone can eat, especially if you collaborate, because you can't do every deal. You don't want every deal.
Absolutely not.
There are hairy deals that you may not want to go after from a title issue standpoint, that someone else may specialize in, that you can work together. I agree with you. I believe that's the special sauce that Columbus offers, that Absolutely. I think about all of the members that I just mentioned. You all are like that. And that's really cool to see. And it is a younger generation.
Yeah,
right. An older generation, it was all about, this is my exclusive territory. No one else can have it. Where you guys have come in and definitely said, I can work with everybody. In fact, put more Columbus members in, because that means they're better and we can collaborate on bigger projects.
100%. Like if I can get somebody in here from Columbus that can bring me more deals, helps their business grow, but it also helps my business grow.
Love that. So you presented on project management yesterday. So that means you do construction. Tell everyone everyone in this room does something a little bit different, is diversified. What's your business model in Columbus?
Yeah, so for us, we used to be an all wholesale company. And we realized that wasn't going to be sustainable for us if we wanted to grow with the margins we were doing just on wholesale. So it's to get into fix and flip. We saw the money the other flippers we were selling to were making. Like, why not bring that in-house, right? So 2024, we really scaled the flipping company. We found a GC in Columbus who was referred from a CG member, actually, and they did 100% of our construction, paid them 100% at the end. They walked the property, gave us the scope of work, dream scenario, like 1 in a million contractor, and it made everything very easy for us. But it was expensive, right? So this year we brought that in-house and started managing our own projects. And that's what I presented on yesterday, is how we kind of went from wholesale to trusting one GC to run everything to now, keeping a lot more money in our pocket on these projects in 2025.
You're the second person to be on the pod this week that talked about increasing profits by bringing project management in-house. Specifically, Jason Reynolds talked about how he increased his margins $20,000, $30,000 per deal. The ease of having one GC do something did not offset and was not worth it to him to lose that margin. That sounds easier than it is. So I'm guessing yesterday you walked people through the process of how you brought someone in. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I still act as the PM for our company. We are looking to hire, but since we are newer to that space, I have no construction background whatsoever. So managing contractors and all that stuff, initially the GC was doing that. So now it's on me. I have to put these systems and places in before I do hire a PM. So I want to make sure we have that dialed in.
Good.
So we walked through all those systems and places we put in place through CompanyCam. So we're heavily utilizing that. So when we do feel really good about that, we'll hire that PM. But
Okay.
that's where we're at.
So you're doing the job before you hire someone for the
Correct.
job. So you'll be able to walk them through a repeatable process that they hopefully will make better
Absolutely.
because they are qualified to do that. Give people some pointers of what you are doing out of the gates. Having been new to this, there's some things that I'm sure you're doing at a high level, and there's some other things you have a learning curve on. What are some of those?
We just what we've done now is documented everything we're doing on a flip. So from material ordering, scope of works, punch outs, demo. I went into this not really knowing anything about a lot of those things. So there were things we were missing, or I was going back to jobs. I'm like
Mhm.
measuring vanities. How many vanities do we need? What sizes are they? How many doors? How many lights? So I was wasting a lot of time going back to job sites all the time.
Sure.
So looking at how I could eliminate a lot of the time I was spending going back and forth to jobs, that was one that has really helped us is just documenting everything. Anytime we walk a property on the scope of work, making sure we have everything in place we're going to need on that job, set up for success.
So what he just gave you there on going back and forth. So if you are an entrepreneur on this side and you've been wholesaling, you're like, I need to do more construction. I'm going to do the property management piece on my own first. The biggest issue that you will find is just your time of back and forth.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the things that you did to eliminate that? Because driving, a certain countertop or things that you have to go and grab for a contractor that needs it right at that given time. How do you offset some of that? Or how have you found that you've offset some of that?
So we have a checklist for every step of the process. So we have a material checklist where we're putting all the items we're going to need. We have a demo checklist, an initial walkthrough checklist, a final punch out checklist. So we have documented everything inside of CompanyCam to do that. Some of the other things we're doing is the Home Depot text to confirm.
Mm.
If our contractors need some material, they can go to Home Depot, check out, send me a text. I can approve their stuff there. So, and then in CompanyCam, instead of me going to check on properties 3 or 4 times a day or a week, we just have them upload photos in CompanyCam, and it gives us a date stamp of the project and what the process is for that week.
How are construction, not the construction process, but the rehab after you're done? How's your market? Because that's what a lot of people that listen to this pod or are in this room, they come in and learn about what's going on in your days on the market in your area. Is there anything that you see, number one, that I'm sure days on the market just in Columbus are the same as everywhere else, have gone up a little bit?
Yep.
Is there anything that you're doing to offset that if that is the case?
Yeah. So the one thing we really leaned into early on in the year was our design on our project.
Good.
So, gone are the days of agreeable gray walls, white subway tile showers, white subway tile backsplashes, the black disc flush mounts. Early on in the year, we created with our designer a template of a good, better, and best
Love
template.
that.
So based on price point, because your 150 ARV is not your 400K buyer. So we have a template for each one of those price points. That is a much nicer product than what a lot of people are putting out. It's not just the lipstick on a pig. So we have very nice lights, plumbing fixtures, tiles in our showers. So we elevated our design. So we stand out amongst a lot of other flippers, and it shows on our days on market.
That, I promise you, listen to that. It's crucial, especially when there are, inventory still low across the United States, but there's more inventory than there has been. And if you're going to get top dollar, you have to have a top dollar product. I'll add one more thing to that. You also have to sell the product.
Yep.
Gone are the days of just throwing something on the MLS and expecting it to move with 8 cash offers.
Yep.
And those days don't last anymore. Is there anything else that you're doing to expedite the process of it being sold?
The agents we work with, historically, we use 1 or 2 agents, and they have a good social media presence.
Selling
so
the property.
they're generally, posting that however video they want to create, they're marketing there. One of our agents will pass out flyers in the neighborhood. So they'll door knock the neighborhood. Hey, come to our open house, tell your friends about it, because people want their neighbors to be their friends or family. So we do that, send some flyers out. If it's something that's sitting a little bit longer, we'll send a flyer out to, hey, come check this out.
Are you staging?
100% of our properties are staged every time.
I asked that specifically for that reason. I didn't know for sure, but I figured that you were based upon some of the other answers.
It was a conversation we actually had last night. Somebody's like, "Oh, I love the AI staging." I was like, I can't do that because then somebody walks into a house and they are not seeing what was shown in those photos. And if there are little minor efficiencies,
Sure.
staging like keeps people's eyes away from,
Yes.
maybe some minor things in the property.
Especially as you get into those higher price points. I know some people in California
Yep.
and other markets were like, hold on, he said 150 ARV.
Yeah.
What house is that?
They're out there.
They are in the
Yep.
Midwest. They definitely are, and it's a great price point to
Yeah.
flip. Like between that one, 200 and 500,
Yeah.
especially in markets like Ohio and Missouri and Kansas and Nebraska. Those are great price points, great houses because that's affordable housing.
100%.
That families will own those houses. Got to make you feel good because you're making one house better in your community at a time.
Yeah, well, especially when we saw those rate increases go to like the 8%, the only thing that sold in our market was under the 250 price point, just because the price payments or the monthly payments were so much lower. People couldn't afford the 400, 500s in Columbus.
You've been in this group for a while now. When you come to like yesterday, do you come in with an intention of, oh, okay, I've been here for a while. I know kind of, the ropes, but I still need this at this particular time.
Yeah.
Did you come in yesterday with that?
Yeah, so even like I presented on project management, but there's still things I want to refine in my business. So that was one of the things I wanted to learn about. Then a lot of times too, I just come and I don't necessarily know I'm looking for something, but then I watch a presentation. I was like, I needed that. So sometimes it hits you when you're watching a presentation. It's like, okay, this is something I can easily implement that we weren't doing before. So
Was there something yesterday that hit you that you weren't expecting?
yeah, and it's one that we hear all the time. And Dustin talked about it in his presentation. It's just like self accountability. I can't, if I'm not self accountable, how can I expect somebody in my company to be accountable if I'm not even doing those traits myself? So that's always one that hits.
What's funny is that Jetro, who produces this show, and I sometimes get you and Dustin mixed
Really?
up. I don't know why. He was like, yeah, Dustin, Dustin's next. And I know you mean Travis.
Yeah.
And I go, it's funny that he said that because I think the same thing sometimes. I see you two very similar.
Hey, that's good company.
That is great company. Yeah, it's totally a compliment to you. You will love, so I don't want to keep you too long because I want you to see Casey's presentation today because if Dustin's hit you, she did a pod yesterday and it was all about identity as an entrepreneur and as a person. Like she had this vision for her company, but she truly didn't know who she was yet as a business owner and what she was trying to accomplish. And I think sometimes that's lost. We all say, well, we want to be this business owner, but you get lost of what you truly want the business to be and what you want to be as a leader. And those are the type of presentations that's, most times you don't come in here going, I need to learn how to be a better leader. But it's that medicine that you need to take. And that's why we make sure that these type of presentations are on the docket for that very reason. Anything else that you're still looking to gain in the next day here at the Collective Genius?
I know there's some great presentations this afternoon that I'm going to check out. Some on the project management side. There's a few on the AI side that I'd be interested in learning about. So I'm going to check both of those out, see how we can implement in our business.
There's a couple Premier members here that are really good at project management. Yesterday, I don't know if Hussein's here today, but he
presented with me.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he does.
Hussein does a building. That's one of the awesome things about being here in Dallas. We have premier level members that come in and say, hey, I'm willing to give back to the community and come and present. Hussein was one of them. Fuquan Belisle is another one, does a lot of construction in New Jersey. If you haven't had a chance to meet Fuquan, he's here with his son. I love that. The guy presented on project management and understands that he's not perfect at it and still wants contacts while in the room. That's in itself, that's what Collective Genius is. What is it? What has this group meant to you?
I was going to actually lean into that. Everything that I presented on yesterday. So when I moved from GC in-house, no project management in-house whatsoever, I leaned on several people. My whole presentation was things I learned from other CG members. So Max Sullivan, I'm like, hey, I know you're doing a lot of flips. Can you help me with how you're using CompanyCam? Christina Aguilera helped me build out CompanyCam with all of my checklists and stuff. So literally everything I've presented and learned on project management has come from people in this group.
I think that's a great way to end it here. I love hearing you say that. That's why we do what we do.
Yep.
Right there with what you just said. If people want to follow you and see some of the stuff that you're doing that you just talked about with flipping in Columbus, Ohio, how do they follow you?
Instagram is just Trav, TRAV_Cope, COPE. I've been documenting a lot more recently, doing some cool fire damage properties and stuff. So new learning experiences for me too.
Well, the lifeblood of this organization is fresh talent. And when you came into this organization, you leveled up this group, and you continue to level up all the groups because some of the referrals that you've brought in have been Elevate, and some of them have been Premier level. And so really appreciate everything that you've added to this community, including, just you being in the community makes us better.
No, I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Thank
Much
you.
appreciated. If you love to be in a room with a member like Travis Copeland, and I tell you, you want to be, the best way to be able to do that is go to our website at explorecg.com. There you'll find our application process. You go through that. We've got a tier for you. If you're a full-time real estate investor, you're right at that point where you're about to go full-time, we have a community for you. The learning curve, I promise you, when you're in a group like this and you're taking on construction or you're taking on lead management that you've never done, outbound or inbound lead, driving inbound leads, that all can be cured in one of these rooms. We are here live at CG Select and Elevate. Again, you don't want to miss our next event. Our next event for CG Select and Elevate is in January. Go to that website, explorecg.com. We'd love to see you in the room. That is the last CG podcast, live podcast of this event. We look forward to seeing you at our next one. We will see you on our next live podcast. Take care.
Are you ready to scale your real estate business? Visit thecollectivegenius.com, where real estate investors come to scale. Subscribe to the Collective Genius podcast and hit the bell icon to be notified when our next episode releases. And thanks for listening.